Hi, my name is Shelby. In this video, I apply various calligraphy techniques as I letter the word April. I'm using FW ink for this project, and it is permanent ink, and that's important because as I write the word April and it dries, I'm going to put a wash over the top of it, and I don't want the ink to, of course, bleed. So FW ink, but what I did is started with water and added some of this pigment to the water rather than starting with the pigment and diluting it. And I did that because I feel I have more control in getting the consistency that I want for the pigment for the word April, and I want the word or the lettering to be light and luminous rather than a heavy spread of color. Since my letters are large, I've chosen this large automatic pen for the letters. You can see that I've started below the line, the pencil guideline, because the type of ink is permanent and it's also diluted, and the pencil lines might show through and be difficult to erase. My pen angle is very flat for this style of lettering, which is an adaptation of Uncial's. As I work, because the letters are large, it's important that I keep the paper in front of me, so I move the paper to keep the letter right in front of my nose. Because I want the bowl of the P and the stem of the R to interact, I am working the letters quite close to each other. For this project, I want the ink to pool a bit and look kind of like puddles within the letters. The letters are about 5 pen widths tall. And before I go on to the next step, I want the project to dry thoroughly. Notice how I come back and finish that L and finish in a light spot. For the word April, I lettered on Arches textwove, and I lettered on the very smooth side. This is the more rough side, and the smooth side worked appropriately for this lettering and this pen. I have to erase the lines, and I'll just lightly do that so that I don't in any way rough up the paper. I'm just using a Pentel polymer eraser, and I like to use a Draftsman's duster to remove the eraser crumbs. The word April was written in a light green, which sort of resembles the color of the first growth of spring, and yet April brings showers, so I'm going to add a look of showers to the word April. To do that, I'm using Higgins Eternal ink, and I like Higgins because it dilutes down to lots of different shades, and this is the shade I'm using. I started with water and added the Higgins and got it to the color that I wanted. And to put on the rain, I'm going to use a dry brush, and I'm going to use a very inexpensive brush, but I can just get just enough on this that I'm not going to get a lot of heavy rain to cover up, which would cover up my word April. So I'm going to work very dry, and I'll see what happens, but I also might do a little spattering with that Higgins as well with the toothbrush.
I brush on the diluted Higgins at an angle, and I stay with my strokes from top to bottom. Then taking the toothbrush and spattering the ink. I want the effect to be like splashes of rain, but not too heavy. It would be easy to overwhelm the light green, and I just wanted some movement, and the splashes break up the space of the lines somewhat. And here you have the completed piece, the word April lettered in Uncials with diluted FW ink and washed in rain with Higgins Eternal.